climate action plan and sustainability leadership in place by end of 2025. And as shown on the screen, the climate action plan has four key pillars as defined by the guidance. That is decarbonization, which looks at energy savings, adaptation and resilience, which looks at the climate impacts such as heating, flooding, climate education and green careers, which looks at the curriculum aspects and how students can go on to green careers, and biodiversity, which looks at the natural impact or the outdoor learning aspects of climate action planning.
Can I interrupt for one moment? Please accept my apologies. I should have shared at the start of the meeting that I have started to record the session. So it's just to let everybody know, just so that we can share that with people afterwards. So we are recording just to enable us to be able to share. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So on this screen is just a model of how our entire program works nationally. There's a lot of logos, no need to worry about that. All you have to know is that within England, there are 9 regional hubs, and we are based in the West Midlands, which is hosted by the Keele University. And some of these hubs are also by research institutes. So climate action planning, our regional hub role is basically to mobilize the support that we have and to ensure that it works the best way for you. So not every climate action plan needs to look the same between settings. So it could look different based on the resources, the time and the cost that you have as well. And as a hub, we ensure that we work with these partners to help deliver these climate action plans. So this is funded by the Department for Education and led by the University of Reading and the EAUC. And the one main thing that you need to know is that when you are requesting for climate ambassador support through our program, it will be through our digital partner, which is through STEM. And this is the website which you will be looking at for requesting the support as well. And our training is also done by change agents over here. And these are our sister projects, which is the National Education Nature Park and Sustainability Support for Education, which are other initiatives funded by the DFE, and the Let's Go Zero, which works in collaboration with the climate ambassadors and is privately funded. So coming on to the context of early years and why you need to take climate action as well. So the education sector is the public sector's largest accounting carbon emitter, and that is about 37%. And looking at the knowledge of teachers and educators, 95% of teachers would like to teach about sustainability and about the impacts, but 70% don't feel equipped to do so. Whereas 70% of young people feel poorly faced to equip these challenges, and thus climate action planning is really useful for bringing into that real life world context and bringing the sense of agency within students. So when looking at that fourth pillar of curriculum and careers, when climate education is taught in age appropriate ways, children are given that agency as mentioned, and hence early climate education is very vital. It also gives additional benefits such as building confidence, especially with nature connectedness, connecting with others, and bringing that sense of community because you're all together when you're out in nature. A few benefits that we can look at for early education settings is that when climate ambassadors come, they come with that tailored and direct expert support. The climate ambassadors, again, from different sectors, whether it be public, private, charity, they go through our training and DBS checks and can help you navigate the support that is available. And early years, as mentioned, is a very crucial phase for laying the foundation of different kinds of values, whether that is respect to the environment, empathy, and so on. And this is something that you can establish through climate action planning. And looking at the beneficial for the setting, you can look at how it aligns with your policies, your goals, and the core values of your setting, such as maybe safeguarding or other different policies. And as a setting, you can also grow connections and networks within the sustainability field. Now I shall hand it over to Emma, who will explain more about our climate ambassadors and the various resources we have.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay, so who are our climate ambassadors? So as Elizabeth just alluded to there, we recruit volunteer climate ambassadors, and they're from across all sectors. So some from private, some from public sectors, some from charities, some from universities. But what they all have in common is that knowledge and passion for sustainability. So they're able to come in to education settings, work with you, and bring their real world knowledge of kind of how to decarbonise, how to increase biodiversity, etc. So we ask of the climate ambassadors that they have a willingness to make a lasting connection with yourselves as nurseries, but also with a lasting connection with that wider community as well, because we don't want these climate action plans just to be developed and to sit on a shelf. We want them to really be acted upon and delivered, and so our climate ambassadors go through that training with that expectation. They have a minimum voluntary commitment, and that's for 1 day a year, but they're to spread that time over 3 activities. So when you are matched with an ambassador, you will see them several times, and you can do that online, you can do that in person, whatever is appropriate really to the support that you need. And as Elizabeth had said on the previous slide, they all undertake mandatory training, and this is around safeguarding, and they are all enhanced DBS checks, so they can come into the settings and be around the young children. So to give you some examples, this is Tom. He is one of our climate ambassadors. He's based in Newcastle under Lyme, so not far from where we're based at Keele. And Tom has been supporting Keele Nursery, so that's an early years setting up on Keele campus. And this is just a bit of some quotes from him, really. So him and his colleagues decided to take action by becoming climate ambassadors, and they actually started, the first thing they did was created some resources for over 50 settings in the local area to use. And this included some signposting documents to various different organisations that education settings could go to for further support. But Tom was also brilliant in putting together a template climate action plan, and he was one of the first to do this, and we've since as a project taken that forward, and that's one of the resources we have that I'll go through with you in a minute. Tom supported Keele Nursery to create and implement their climate action plan, and it lists there some of the actions. So he undertook a biodiversity and energy assessment with them. He helped them calculate their carbon footprint, and he made plans for teaching their staff and children about sustainability through various activities like planting trees and having guest speakers in to come and work with the children and the staff. And he just rounds up there by saying the nursery is already making great strides in climate action through growing sustainable produce, having a green roof, and getting energy from solar and wind, all for a better future for all. So just to go on to another few quick examples. So Jules is one of our climate ambassadors who is an energy consultant in her day job. And she volunteered and helped 2 multi-academy trusts change their energy tariff so that they were now on renewable energy. She helped them conduct a carbon audit and to reduce their energy bills. So that one's very much looking in that area of decarbonisation and supporting those education settings to cut carbon emissions. Paul is another one of our ambassadors, and he is a digital learning designer in his day job, and he supported a local primary school to develop their climate action plan. Particularly his role was working with governors and raising the awareness amongst the governors of the importance of the climate action plan. And really he then helped identify key stakeholders within the school that could take each action forward. I should also say, it doesn't say on that slide, that because of Paul's expertise in digital learning, he was really able to look at opportunities to embed sustainability into some of the learning activities as well within the classrooms. And then finally, Maya, so she owns a fashion business that she set up herself, and her main contribution was sustainable fashion workshops. So she went into schools and actually delivered workshops with the young people to help them understand the importance of reusing and recycling clothing and other accessories. So hopefully that gives you a picture of the range of expertise and the range of activities that our ambassadors can really support you with. So I will now just touch briefly on some of the resources that we have available to you. The first thing to say, though, is that the Department for Education has asked you to put together a climate action plan, but they have not specified the way that that needs to look. So as a project, we have created a climate action plan as a template for you to use, but you are more than welcome to take that away and adapt it as to how best fits you. So don't feel that you've got to be rigidly stuck to what we're giving you. It just should hopefully be a help to get you started, but do feel free to kind of add columns, delete columns, move things around, however best suits you and your specific nursery. So this is the climate action plan template. You can hopefully see, I don't know, this writing's probably very small, but on the left hand side it just shows you the introduction to the climate action plan template, and the first couple of pages of that document just ask you some prompting questions to get you to think about what are some of the things that you might already be doing that actually could be counting towards your climate action plan. And I think particularly within early year settings, it might be things like outdoor play and outdoor learning, and those things absolutely will be having a great impact on the children that you support. So let's get them in the climate action plan as the first things that are real quick wins for you to be evidencing that you're doing already. So on the right hand side you can see this blue table, so that is the table for decarbonisation, and you can see there that there's a column for you to put your actions in. You can link it to areas of improvement. If you have, for example, an improvement plan for the nursery, there's columns for you to add in key resources, key people that you want to rope into each of the actions. I think somebody's just unmuted. If you wouldn't mind muting, sorry, there seems to be a lot of background noise all of a sudden. So yeah, but this is what I was saying. So there's a table here, and it's up to you which columns you want. You can add columns in or remove them. But I think the key thing for the climate action plans are there's an action, there is a timeline, and there is a designated person who's going to be responsible for carrying out that individual action. So that's the decarbonisation table. You can see there that we then have another table for biodiversity. So there is a table for each of the 4 areas that Elizabeth explained earlier. We also have an accompanying menu of actions. So this is literally a list of actions that you can go through and choose the ones that you want to put into your plan. And we're really trying to make this as easy as possible for you. And in the workshops in July that have been mentioned a couple of times already, we will be taking you through actually looking at these menus of actions, choosing the ones that you want and putting them into that climate action plan template. So do come and join us then to kind of move forward with actually filling out the plan. The menu of actions has actions under each of the 4 key areas, so we're trying to make it kind of as straightforward as possible, and they are hyperlinked to various different resources that can kind of take you to, for example, under decarbonisation, one of the first actions is to calculate your carbon footprint. We have provided a link there to a carbon footprint calculator that you can use to work out the various different carbon emissions from your nursery's operations. So just coming to the end now, so I just wanted to share with you these actions which have been put together by one of our sister projects, the Sustainability Support Hub. They run webinars all the time, much like this one, to help education settings think about how to get started and what are some of the first actions that you should be taking. So I just wanted to include these 10 on the slide just to show you the types of actions that you might want to be thinking about from the beginning. So for example, first action on the list, create a sustainability working group. You can think about key stakeholders from the nursery, from your governance structures, from your parents or the people that might come in to do things with the children, to get together key people in a working group to then think about how you can take this climate action plan forward. Elizabeth is going to take you through an activity at the end that might help you with some ideas for that. Just picking out another one at random, completing an energy review. So absolutely, if you're going to look at decarbonising, you need to understand where your energy is used, and then look at how to reduce them. But again, if you click on that, it will take you to a resource that takes you through that step by step. And very importantly, you can of course request a climate ambassador that can help you with each of these activities. So my main message is don't feel that you're on your own. We are here to support you, and please do request further support when you need it. I think this might be my last slide. So the reason we've included this is it is a prioritization grid. So if you, for example, have that list of 10 actions that was on the previous slide, there will be some of those things that you will find quite hard to implement. And so what we do is use this grid as a means of prioritizing which action you do first. So you want to start with the quick wins that are the easiest to implement and the highest impact. Then think about what's easy to implement but actually might not have as high impact, but it could lead on to other things that are valuable. The things that are hard to impact with a high impact, hard to implement, with a high impact, they're going to be things that you might want to think more of in terms of long-term strategic objectives or strategic projects for your setting. So you don't need to worry about doing everything straight away. Just start with the quick wins and the things that you can do as soon as possible. If on the list of actions there are things that are very hard for you to implement and things that probably aren't going to have low impact, you don't want to waste your time doing them. So we don't want you to think that, oh, you've got to do every single thing. If it's something that's going to be too difficult and not have much impact, then it's fine to strike that one off the list. You don't have to choose that one for you. Okay, so we're just going to pause for questions to see if there are any before we move on to our activity. Hopefully that's given you a nice overview of the project and a nice overview of where to start thinking about climate action planning. I will just check the chat. I don't think we've had any questions. If anybody wants to unmute or stick up their hand, always happy to answer any questions live. I don't think there are any. Okay, so I will hand over to Elizabeth then. Sally can get ready with the breakout rooms. Fingers crossed this is all going to go well, but I'll hand over to Elizabeth just to talk you through the activity and what we're going to ask you to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. So as Emma had mentioned, we had gone through a list of 10 different actions that early years providers can go through. So this activity is sort of the beginning step of your climate action planning, you could say. Now, as an earlier setting, you could have different providers within your different stakeholders within your setting. That could be from the catering team, that could be from someone who's passionate about sustainability and who could be identified as a sustainability lead or probably talking to the management. So I will just go through these pillars again briefly and talk what they are exactly. So decarbonization is looking at reducing emissions and supporting young people to be part of this transition to net zero. Adaptation and resilience is looking at making your systems and buildings prepare for the effects of climate change, that is, as I mentioned, overheating, flooding. Biodiversity is looking at bringing in nature within the classroom and outside the classroom, improving air quality and increasing that nature connectedness for young people. This could also be beneficial for the staff as well at the same time. So looking at the next pillar is climate education and green careers, which is looking at embedding this climate change and sustainability throughout the curriculum and preparing young people and giving them that agency to encounter the climate change impacts and building that skills for the future. So in each of these links, that is group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, we have linked a Padlet to each of these links, which we can drop in the chat right now. And what we will be expecting for each group is to be sent to each of these groups, and the Padlet also will open up where you can share your opinions or identify these key stakeholders within your settings. So I will be dropping the link also in each of the groups, or if we can drop it in the chat. We can just open the room for question and answer discussion.
Yeah, we can open the room for questions, certainly.
We do just have another couple of slides, so I'll just reshare to finish them off, and then we can, certainly open. Just bear with me 1 second, sorry.
Can I just ask a quick question with regards to the climate ambassadors? Is there You mentioned we can set up an initial Teams meeting to talk to our climate ambassadors. And then is there a set amount of time that we can ask for ambassadors to support with us? Is it a limited time or is it just down to capacity?
You can always have multiple discussions with ambassadors. So if you want the initial discussion to be 1 hour, you can have that initial discussion, then go back to who you need to discuss with, take in that information, and again discuss what your next steps are. So it is very much a very gradual process. And again, it's up to you how many times you want to request for the ambassador. And again, if you need that support as well, you can always come back to us.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'd add to that, Sally, is the ambassadors have that minimum time commitment of 3 activities with the same education setting. So their minimum commitment as a volunteer is a kind of 8-hour day split into 3 activities. So you can at least expect to see them that amount of times. But what you'll probably find is you work with an ambassador that helps you develop the plan, and then you'll probably put a request out for a different ambassador when you then want to look specifically into one area or into carrying out a specific action. So you'll probably work with multiple, and most of the ambassadors do a lot more than just that standard minimum volunteering. How do you request an ambassador? Very important question. Let me just go through these last few slides and then we'll come on to that, because I think it links to the kind of next steps in the webinars and things that we're going to do. Elizabeth, do you want to go over this or do you want me to? I think your name is on the slide, but I don't mind talking because I already am.
Happy for you to go for it. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So our call to action, we're going to share these slides with you afterwards. So the first thing you can do is contact us via our regional email address. If you click on that, it's hyperlinked to our email address. Elizabeth, do you also just want to type the email address into the chat so people can just easily get it today? And I would just encourage you all to reach out to ask any questions, any discussions that haven't quite been able to be wrapped up because of time. Just get in touch with us. When you get in touch with us, we share the instructions with you for how to request a climate ambassador. So Elizabeth did allude to this earlier, that we have an online platform called STEM Learning, and that will allow you to register as a nursery and be able to request a climate ambassador. There are some specific things that you need to do though. So there is a step-by-step guide, which I don't want to go through now just because of time. So we will share that step-by-step guide with you. But really importantly, the next step for everybody on this call is please to sign up to one of the sessions on the 7th of July, because we will then be taking you through putting this climate action plan together. We will use our climate action plan template. We will use our menu of actions to get you really set up with a climate action plan, and you'll have actions under each of the 4 pillars. And then you will be able to put out a request for a climate ambassador because you've got your plan in place, and you'll be able to specify that request then which area you want support with. So just to recap, get in touch via the regional email address and we will send you step-by-step instructions. Please book onto the Eventbrite and we will do your climate action plan with you live on the 7th of July. And then the final link there is a drop-in. So Elizabeth runs a very informal drop-in for education settings, and that is for schools, colleges and early years providers, where you can just come in and ask questions. So there's a link there to join that, which is via Teams. Let me just see, is my slide going to change? No. Oh, there we go. So the last thing to say from us is just thank you so much. There's our website and email address if you want to get in touch with us. I just want to say thank you because I know how busy you all are, and you've probably sat in a nursery with lots of children running around and having to try and find a quiet, private place to have this meeting and to give us your attention. So thank you so much for coming and for getting involved. And yes, we are here to help you. We are here to support you. So please do reach out, and we hope to see many of you in July. We have a final slide now, which I will hand back to Sally just to explain, because I think it might take a few minutes for you to scan the QR code and do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. A huge thank you to you both. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Elizabeth. We really, really appreciate the session this morning. So informative, so interesting, and I think it's caused great excitement. So it's also really wonderful to know that we've got that support moving forwards. We're not on our own. We've got climate ambassadors, and we've also got support on the sessions on the 7th of July. And I know my colleagues added the Eventbrite link into the chat, so please book onto one of those sessions. We've got a 9:30 a.m. session, a 3:30 p.m. session, and how wonderful that we can all work together and support one another to write our climate action plans moving forward. I actually think this is going to be the start of a really exciting journey where we connect and collaborate and work together to support one another. So a very big thank you to you both. Really appreciate it. Really looking forward to the next sessions. We do need your feedback. These sessions are funded by the DFE as part of the Stronger Practice Hub. So please, if you could scan the QR code and give us your feedback for the session, that would be very, very much appreciated.